This is the Making Noise podcast.
If there are composers out there who are interested in working with you, what is something that, like, how should they contact you? And even in that, like, what is a way that someone's contacted you where you're like, no, that's not how you start this?
So to be perfectly honest, I don't really care how you contact me. Like, I get Instagram DMs with composers being like, hey, can you look at this piece? And I'm like, yeah, sure, cool. I like contacts through my website, Facebook. Like, I really don't care as long as I'm not referred to as Mr. Meiksins, because that's like that's the quickest way for me to be like, yeah, no, you didn't look at anything I do.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That's happened, huh?
like, gender is a social construct, but I kind of express my gender pretty clearly.
Right. Yeah.
That was a fun development when the 365 started popping off, is I got like 8 or 9 emails addressed to Mr. Meiksins, and that was an immediate like turn off.
Yeah.
The only thing that really pisses me off is like that, or misspelling my name, especially when you're coming from my website, which has my name plastered all over it.
Sure.
I understand my last name is a difficult last name. It's hard to spell. Also, Robin with a Y is a very common name, but take the time to please figure out whether my name is right or not. Because I find it very disrespectful, obviously. But that's really the only thing that's ever like made me not want to work with someone. I guess also like not asking for my help and then not listening to me. Like there's one piece, and I won't say exactly which one because I don't really want to call this composer out, but there was a technique that I didn't know how to do. I was struggling mightily with it and kind of asked, can I adjust this? Because I really find this difficult, and I think that maybe having an alternative would be great because this is a very difficult technique. And he basically said, no, you have to figure it out. And I did, and he's just not someone that I really particularly want to work with again.
Well, there's a lot of good stuff in there that you brought up. I mean, for one thing, like the professionalism of addressing someone properly and exactly like how their name and everything, that's like basic right there. Not to say that what you're saying isn't important to mention, because it definitely is,
No. And I have no problem with just being like, having an email address to hello, Robin, like, yeah, fine. You don't have to use any kind of titles or anything like that. But as long as if you get my name right, I will actually continue reading.
I had a sort of similar experience, and I won't get into what the context of it was. And I definitely made a mistake on my part. So like that's, I'm at fault in some degree with that. But the person who I was corresponding with via email, my name is Adam, Adam, right? The following 2 emails after we were corresponding was, hi, Aaron, and hi, Alex. And I realized that they were specifically trying to like stick a knife in and turn it a little bit just by, addressing me with the wrong name because they weren't getting what they wanted. Oh. Yeah. So I logged that name in my head and I won't forget who they are. And anytime, so that does matter. It is important.
Yeah. And I also I will say there, like the contemporary music world is small.
Oh yeah.
And if you've made a bad impression on someone that I really respect, I am going to be more wary. I'm never going to write someone off based on other people's experiences. I don't think that's fair. But there are some people that I have a little bit of a question mark about. And if they approached me in a way that I didn't like, if they approached me in a very aggressive or a very like direct way, I might be more worried about working with. There's also some composers that I just have had too many like not great experiences with, just with their rehearsal etiquette and the way that they interacted with people, that I'm like, okay, I guess if you pay me enough, I'll do it. But,
right, yeah.
Considering that I really do offer a lot of my services for free, maybe not.
Well, there's so much in this right now that like it sounds like a lot of this conversation is sort of centered around just how you function and develop the professional but also personal relationship with who you're working with.
Yeah.
That's so important, clearly, and it matters a lot. I mean, like you're saying, how there's composers who might just be inflexible. Is that the word?
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is, but like the one you mentioned with that technique where you're like, I'm not certain about this. Could we try something different? And they're like, no. It's, you know, that affects things. That affects people. That affects like your future like prospects or opportunities.
Yeah, and I mean, it also breaks the trust.
Yeah.
Because I do see these relationships as like trusting relationships. I trust you to trust me to be able to play your music. But the trust, it also goes back with me like trusting that the composer will listen to me and will respect my limitations. And so when that kind of thing happens, that trust is broken and I'm no longer as willing to like work again. And I would never bomb a performance or not do a recording just because a composer was rude to me. But again, it does change my relationship moving forward.
Yeah. Oh, that makes so much sense. And how important that is. Yeah, I kind of can't get over that right now. Actually, I don't know why, but I guess I'm just glad to hear you saying all that, because maybe I'm starting to realize it more and more with the relationships that I have with the people that I work with and everything. And like, yeah, it's just so important.